Happy New Year! Greetings and welcome. Thanks for joining me for another edition of Electric Avenue's YouTube updates. We're here in January 3rd of 2025. Wow. How did we get here? We're already a quarter of the way to the next century uh, since the millennium. And we got a Robbie Williams movie coming out where he's like a chimp or a monkey or something. The guy was singing about millennium 25 years ago, and he never broke America really. So it's kind of weird that he's got to be an ape in his new film. But shout out to Robbie. Hope it's a success. I don't know how anyone's going to recognize you in America anyway, but who knows? Maybe the guy who did The Greatest Showman can work wonders for you. So anyway, I'm here. Made it through the holidays. Let's see. Well, December, there was a stomach virus going around. It's still going around, I think, but I've already been through that, as did my spouse. And then later in the month, Christmas, and we had sort of I wouldn't call it a tragedy, but an issue with a relative that we had just spent Christmas with. And then we were back several states away for New Year's. And we now have a cat that we didn't have. He's a sweetie. He's 15. Got multiple health issues. But we were kind of thinking, we'd lost our last cat like 6 months ago. We thought, hey, maybe this would be the time. And, well, he sort of fell into our lap in a one way or another. But I would say we're probably more like foster parents at this point since he's already 15. But he's a sweetie. Anyway, so that's where things are. We get a new family member, so to speak, although he already was a family member. And you guys get to see what's out here for the first week of January. It's kind of interesting. There used to be nothing the first week of January. The only time I ever remember that happening was the year that Radiohead's and Rainbows came out. I think it came out in like October as a streaming. Well, we didn't really have streaming then either. It was a download whatever and pay whatever you want sort of thing. They were certainly trying to break the mold, and it didn't necessarily make music stores all that happy, because it was like, you guys, we could be selling your record and you're just giving it away. But they knew that people were cheap and we're gonna like just trade it around and share it around, and that's what's led us to where we are today. There's all the streaming issue out there, but then, and of course artists get paid next to nothing, which, hey, that's great. That went really well. And not like that was not predicted to be an issue. And so anyway, it's good that physical media has survived and that it's doing as well as it is, and that people still value actual records, CDs, cassettes, whatever, that can deliver that to them. Because I think, I don't know, there's just something about that sort of experience of dropping the needle or however you're playing these things. So, okay, that being said, I don't want to be a grouch or a grunch. I think I just created a new word at the beginning of 2025. So let's plow in. So what we do have mainly this week, there's a lot of the Rhino Records as these programs now 2 or 3 times a year. Start your ear off right. And so you'll be seeing some of those things today. Like the first thing here, I usually start with box set type things. And I don't know why they don't make these things on CD, but sorry, CD people. You're just going to lose until maybe they decide to make one later. But Lindsay Buckingham, this is the dude from Fleetwood Mac. And it's a box set of his 4 well, really, it's his 3 early Warner records and then a bonus record, which is kind of cool. Rarities. So, what you get is you get the Law and Order album. That's the one with Think I'm in Trouble. Then you get Go Insane, which has Go Insane. Crazy video if you never saw that. I mean, it's like 80s. I mean, you're kind of like, this is the guy from Fleetwood Mac, but it was a pretty cool video for its time. And definitely he was sort of doing his own thing. And then Out of the Cradle, which was a really good album. They were all good albums. And that was sort of his third in this set. Now, he did make other albums after this too, but Out of the Cradle is really hard to get on vinyl. I think you don't see that very often. And then, so this Rarities record down here, Holiday Road on vinyl, Dancing Across the USA, extended remixes of Go Insane and Slow Dancing, and then side 2, Time Bomb Town, Soul Drifter radio remix, On the Wrong Side, and Twisted. So there's 8 bonus tracks. Holiday Road was a huge hit. That song's kind of hard to find. One thing that I should mention about Go Insane too, if you've not played that vinyl before, the end of side A, if you have a turntable that's not an auto reject one, it just gets stuck in that run out groove and it'll play whatever for a while. I mean, it'll just play infinitely. And when you flip it over, side 2 is the continuation of Play in the Rain. So it's kind of like, it's I don't know what it would sound like on CD. I guess it just goes forward or something. But anyway, Lindsay Buckingham box set. Okay, another sort of box set. This is not a Start Your Ear Off Right, but they have done things with Warner, and then this is a kind of an interesting thing, is Devo with a set called Recombo DNA. And basically what this is a 4 LP and a mini CD set. Okay, so it says, fans rejoice. Devo's most demanded release is available for public consumption once again. This has been out before. Featuring rare demos and outtakes spanning their entire career, from the early Basement days through to the present. This 4 LP set does not only rare and obscure version. I think they left out a word. This 4 LP set includes not only rare and obscure versions of classic material, but also completely unreleased extras. Alongside the vinyl is the Somewhere Suite on mini CD. So includes rare and unreleased material from the archives, color sleeves, large poster, liner notes, and limited Big Mess color vinyl. So it just probably looks like bleh. But actually, I think I saw pictures of it online. It looked pretty cool. So anyway, new Devo set. Probably more for the like hardcore fans because they are like the demos and stuff. All right, I have to mention this because, well, Rhino has been doing this series online that they've basically been selling all of these, what they're sort of audiophile editions of records, and then they give drips and drabs of them to stores. We had Black Sabbath's first album, and it was, I don't know if it's been discontinued, but the distributor is out of it right now. So I don't know how long they plan on making these for. Grateful Dead, American Beauty, we got the Cars, Candy O, and Devo's Freedom of Choice. So this month for Start Your Ear Off Right, they've decided, because they recently released a 5 LP box set of ZZ Top records, they have split them up and are doing them separate. So these are 180 gram vinyl cut from the original master tapes by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio, Mr. Blue Note, pressed at Optimal, which is like probably the best or one of the best pressing plants in the world. Heavyweight gatefold jacket, exclusive inserts with insights from Billy Gibbons and a Q&A with James Austin, limited edition. So these are, I don't know how they say limited. These aren't numbered. It's hard to say how many they're making of these, But they're supposed to be some of the best sounding versions of these albums. So ZZ Top's first album, and they're affordable, around 40 bucks. Rio Grande Mud, ZZ Top. And they have these cool Obi strips as well, which I'm not sure what the purpose is because, the Japanese ones are so cool. All the Asian ones with the writing, the kanji or whatever. And, we just have like, here's a description. But Tres Hombres, one of their most iconic sort of records. Another very popular one, Fandango, which I think is a lot of live kind of stuff too. And let's see. And the last one of the 5, Teos. So it's really like the 70s, 70s ZZ Top. These have been issued before many times, reissued, but it's cool to see them in these sort of gatefold, kind of like really hard tip-on type jacket sleeves, covers. So anyway, if you're a ZZ Top fan, I don't know how long those are going to be around. Okay. Another series that came out or is coming out this week. Dream Theater. I think that they also had a box set. So these are the albums they've been split out, and they are also on clear vinyl. So you get Images and Words, which is one of the early, if not, might be the first. Let's see. I don't know if these are in order. I don't think so. Awake, which I think is a very popular one. Falling into Eternity, which I think is sort of a lesser popular one. I mean, some people really like this. I'm sorry, Falling into Infinity. It's, I think a little bit more like poppy sound. Or mainstream sounding, I guess. Some people are like not quite as into that. I don't know. And then the last one, Metropolis 2, of the first 4 here that have been done. So Metropolis 2 is a double vinyl. Falling into Infinity, double vinyl. Awake, double vinyl. And Images and Words is a single. Because it's more conventional length, I suppose. Well, I don't know. Side A has 25 minutes. So, why they didn't take it and put it on 2 records, I don't know. Side B is almost 30 minutes. It's 20 minutes between the first and last tracks, and then maybe 10 more minutes. So those grooves are going to be scrunched. But I don't know. It's nice that they put these out anyway. So, and there'll probably be more There's a new Dream Theater coming out in early February. So I've had a lot of questions, by the way, about new Kendrick Lamar vinyl or CD. That comes out vinyl in early February. I think February 7th. And then the Tyler, the Creator, does not have a date that I know of yet. I think I saw March maybe. So I don't know. I'll have more of that information next week when I'm still trying to like get my bearings. I've had people bringing in like used records, and I'm like, I can't even like get all the restocks out and get the used records. So it's a process. It's a process, people. All right. Everybody awake? I know it's only 14 minutes, but hey, are the dogs barking yet? Woo, 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 Sorry. I said to someone the other day, because I did that in a video like a few weeks ago, where I just started clapping really loud. It was probably about 45 minutes in. I said maybe I should do that more often and then just start driving people's dogs crazy. Whatever. They're like, you're going to have people not watching you anymore. So anyway, okay. There were a couple more. So I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked a lot. I'm loopy. I was 10 hours driving yesterday. Okay, give me a break. So Ramones. There was also Ramones box set, I think last year, Record Store Day, and they've taken some of the Ramones and split them out too. So these are later albums. 1987, Halfway to Sanity. And this one is Bop Till You Drop. I Want to Live, Weasel Face, I'm Not Jesus. All right. So then there was Too Tough to Die. All right, and this one was 1984. So they kind of skipped around a little bit because I think they've had some out that were after this. This one features Howling at the Moon, Warthog, and Danger Zone. And then there's one more. This one I think is fairly famous. Brain Drain, their 1989 album. And this one features I Believe in Miracles, Pet Cemetery, and Merry Christmas, I Don't Want to Fight Tonight. All right. So you got really like, I mean, you could almost say like, is Rhino being lazy just by putting out like split out versions of their box sets? Yes, they're actually being very lazy there. Why? There, I could go through a whole bunch of, I probably should do this. Maybe I should come up with a list of like Warner albums, older ones that aren't being pressed and Rhino is just sleeping on them. I don't know. I mean, do I need to like say, hey, can you do anything but the same like four bands? I mean, it's good that they did Dream Theater, right? Because a lot of people don't have that. But there's so many things that I'm like, you guys are just like dropping the ball on certain things, and but yet they feel that we need another English Beat special beat service. We just got this for Black Friday Record Store Day as a 2 LP edition. And this is a 1 LP, so, you know, if you didn't buy the big one and you just want the album, you don't want the extras, I get it. It's $25. It's on limited edition silver vinyl, but, you know, it's also a little bit less deluxe in a way. So, hence the reason I only ordered one of these, because it's a great album, but, you know, and I'll probably get more of them. But it does kind of irritate me that they chose something that was just on some list that they just, whatever. I could go on about that. And then this is pretty cool. Thanks for putting this out, I suppose. Although, you know, this is pre-Lindsay and Stevie, but Fleetwood Mac, and this is Live at the Record Plant, December 15th, 1974. So this would be the Bob Welch era. And this features Hypnotized, Oh Well, Future Games, and more. 2 LPs pressed on transparent red vinyl. So I don't know if this was in a box set at some point, but it's nice that they put this out. It's got the Green Manalishi, Sentimental Lady is on here, which ended up being a pretty big hit for Bob Welch. Although I don't know, it might have been a hit before this, but anyway, I was just a tot. I'm dating myself there, right? I'm not literally dating myself. No. Whew. This is what happens when you do videos at the end of the day instead of the beginning. You get a little loopy. You start saying crazy. I haven't been drinking, people. All right. Let's see. Blue Note Tone Poets. There are a couple this week. Andrew Hill, Grassroots, which, again, Kevin Gray, Coherent Audio, yada yada. Do I need to say any more at this point? I think we've all heard it a million times. Anyway, so this one has Lee Morgan on trumpet, Booker Irvin on tenor, Andrew Hill piano, Ron Carter on bass, and Freddie Waits on drums. No relation to Tom Waits, I don't think. Anyway, so yeah, a kind of not often seen Andrew Hill. And then this is kind of cool. I like it when Blue Note does things from the Pacific Jazz label, because those records are hard to find also, and you don't see them that often. So they chose this time the Jazz Crusaders with the Freedom Sound. And this is 1961. Again, same mastering team, featuring Wilton Felder on tenor, Wayne Henderson on trombone, Joe Sample on piano, really young, 1961. Styx Hooper on drums, and guest musicians Jimmy Bond and Roy Gaines. Oh, he's on bass and Roy Gaines on guitar. So, yeah, there's Joe Sample right there. Okay, and just a few more things, people. This is not a big week. This is no. I have to apologize for my last video. It was the one where I gave my top 20 albums of the year plus one, and then I did honorable mentions. And I said at the beginning of the video, I'm like, there's no way this is going to be an hour long, I promise. And then it was an hour and 5 minutes. So I think I just need to resign myself to the fact that all year-end sort of going over the stats of the year are going to be hour-long videos. But here's a new album from The Feeling, which is a British band. They've been around for 20 years. Good band. The album's called San Vito. It says the new album from the multi-platinum selling band includes the single The Right Wrong. More multi-platinum in England than they are in the US, but I've heard some of their records and they're pretty good. The lead singer, I cannot remember his name, Dan, I think. No, I'm sorry, he's the guitarist, is married to, I think they're still married to Sophie Ellis-Bextor, who just had a huge resurgence with her song Murder on the Dance Floor from Saltburn. So we're starting 25 and I'm still talking about Saltburn. I cannot speak today. And then a couple of things that came in that I did not show before. Wicked, the soundtrack from the movie. The movie, people. With Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. Lyrics by Steven Schwartz, and music featuring Popular, Something Bad. I think this is got fewer different songs than some different than the Broadway show, or fewer, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I have not seen the movie, so don't quote me. And let's see, there was a John Legend reissue of his album Get Lifted. I think this was his debut. This was a really good record. Features Used to Love You, Ordinary People, and So High Cloud 9 mix featuring Miss Lauryn Hill. John's a Philadelphia native, and this album was a massive hit for him out of the gate. So it's cool to see this back in print. One song features Kanye West, one features Snoop Dogg. Anyway, John Legend. And then one of my favorite artists, one of my artists that I respect a lot, who did a lot of things in his career, whether he was in the Velvet Underground or now he's 80-something and still making very vital music. John Cale. I've shown other reissues of his recently. They put out Paris 1919, which is probably his most well-known album, I'd say, of at least the 70s, and then the Academy in Peril, which is a much more artsy kind of record. But three of my favorite records of the mid-70s, which I've only come to hearing in the last 10-15 years or so, during the era that he had just sort of produced Patti Smith's first record or two. Horses, I know he did. And so, and he'd already worked with Nico, but from Velvet Underground. He was in the mid-70s. He signed to Island Records, and he did some solo records, and they're great, I think. I don't know which ones I've shown here, but so if you're into Bowie and that kind of glam rocky stuff, he's kind of like that without quite so much vocal theatricality, I would say. It's a little more like rocker kind of vocals, and the music is, well, it's not quite as also artsy as Bowie, I think, but it can get there close sometimes, because he did work a lot with Brian Eno and people like that. But Fear is a really great album, sort of a rock, straightforward sort of rock album. It begins with the track Fear is a Man's Best Friend, which is a really great rocker, but a really kind of glammy sort of, but he has such an unhinged kind of quality to his voice. I really like it. Also, this album features Gun, which is a really cool song that was covered by Susie and the Banshees on their 80s album Through the Looking Glass, and they did a pretty good job of it, but the original is awesome. This also has Ship of Fools, which is a very kind of almost pretty sort of like more orchestral kind of song. It's just kind of all over the place, but the people that played on this guitars were, other than, well, John played keyboards and guitar, but Phil Manzanera of Roxy Music also played guitar on this record. Fred Smith of Patti Smith, I believe, played drums on it. And then Brian Eno was credited as doing Eno. So and Brian Eno has a new movie out that I'm kind of curious to see. It's sort of about a regenerative type thing where it's like the movie will never be the same twice. So it will always be a different thing. Eno's very artsy, keyboardish usually. But anyway, then the second record that he did, Slow Dazzle. And this one has, this is sort of my recommends too, by the way. This one has Heartbreak Hotel, which is his cover of the Elvis Presley Heartbreak Hotel. And he does it in a very sinister kind of goth. It's almost like between he and Nico, they've sort of created like the goth sound that then like, you know, punk rockers like Bauhaus and The Cure a little bit, Susie, like they took those kind of sounds and ran with them. Very dark stuff. But, you know, has other kind of upbeat songs like Mr. Wilson, Roll a Roll. I do like Guts is pretty good. The Jeweler is a really weird track to end this album with. It's like spoken word and it's some very bizarre poem. But it's kind of like people don't make records like this. I mean, well, they do, but you know, but at the time, this was like kind of unique. This one again features John on keyboards. Guitars this time, not only Phil Manzanera, but Chris Spedding, also famous, very famous session musician mainly. Let's see. I don't know. Well, Chris Thomas plays violin and electric piano. And then synthesizer Eno again. So anyway, that's a great album. And then the third one of the set, Helen of Troy. I think the cover sort of describes what the album sounds like a little bit. It's a really bizarre 70s record, but it's catchy. It still rocks. It's still tuneful. This one has My Maria, the title track, which is great, Helen of Troy. This also features the song Pablo Picasso that Bowie actually did cover much later on, I think it was maybe Reality was the album that he put that on. But anyway, I Keep a Close Watch is a really great kind of piano ballad type song. So, and then this album added Phil Collins on drums. So, you know, and also Robert Kirby did the strings and choir arrangements. I mean, he worked with Elton John. So I would say John Cale had some pretty, I don't know, he ran with some pretty famous friends. He had a lot of respect from musicians, and he produced a lot of really great, some of the best records of their times. Sort of edgy and still, like I said, making great records. Makes a violin sound great on a rock record. So hats off to John Cale. And, you know, when other guys and members of Velvet Underground passed away long ago, he's still going at it. So it's great. Well, see, half an hour. Thanks everybody for watching me tonight. I apologize if this was a little slightly unhinged for me. I seem to be like, I need to go like just kind of have a nice quiet dinner and just reflect on the day. So thank you again for watching. Next week, I think, is a fairly light week, so I don't really know exactly. I need to come up with the list of like things that I know are coming in the near future. So I'll try to get those previews together and show you a little bit of what is coming down the line and when they're coming. And yeah, sounds good. Ugh, I need to go get a nap or something too. All right, maybe play with the cat. He's so cute. All right, peace. Have a good week. Thanks for watching.